Good morning, everybody. Welcome to NinjaTrader Live. My name is Jim Cagnina. I am Senior Market Strategist. I am joined by Pharm Capital, and it is Black Shirt Thursday. Good morning, Pharm. How are you?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to vacation. You guys are going to miss me for a couple of weeks when I'm gone. I'm telling you.
What?
Yeah, leaving Friday and not quite 2 full weeks. So yeah, I don't know what you're going to do, Jim. You'll still get my plans in your mailbox every morning, though. So you'll be okay
Okay.
every
Oh,
night.
that'll be good. That's all I need. Refresh our memory. Where are you going?
Going to Michigan. We've got some family out there and going to do some fishing. Go out to Mackinac and stay on the island for a night at the Grand Hotel with 4 kids. It's like $1,200 a night, something ridiculous. We're staying one night. So yeah, it should be fun. But last year was Hawaii, so it's not exactly the same.
Yeah. But Michigan in the summertime's awesome, for sure.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. So
All right, good. And everyone's healthy now?
yeah, for the most part, we're doing all right. Feeling COVID free anyways. So was definitely worried that it was going to work through the house and one person gets sick at a time and drag out through Michigan. But seems like we're okay here.
Yeah. Well, we had another, tariff drop last night on Brazil, 50% on Brazil. Seems punitive to me, but you know what? The stock index futures, they don't care.
Yeah, last night it was just so similar to the night before. And a lot of us in the Discord were up trying to find that long. And it was just the same thing. It just stay heavy, stay heavy, stay heavy, no absorption into the lows. Retail slap happy traders trying to lift it. They get rugged. And like we knew the entire time that what was going to happen is that, Europe was going to come in and sweep the Asia low and then just rip face. So I'm always on the lookout for like subtle potential signals. And I stayed awake until like 3 o'clock in the morning to buy this overnight low, knowing that
Whoa.
I'm probably only going to get like 20 handles. That's got to be a topping signal because that's ridiculous. So,
So you
um,
were so you were literally up for the London initial balance, and that's where that low popped in.
yeah, I was up until that low was put in. So what time was that? My time? Yeah, that was 12:15 my time, and it's now 6 o'clock. So that's just ridiculous. So got to be a topping signal. 20 handles, no sleep.
Well, it might be. I mean, we haven't been able to make new highs all week, right? I mean, this is Thursday already. We still have that zero DTE call resistance gamma wall at 63.20. And it seems like the last few days, the peaks have been a little bit below that, around 63.15.
Yeah, that weekly 63.15 to 17 half spot has been nasty. And yeah, we just have not been able to bid the weekly open. You've got like the Sunday 6 p.m. open. I've got a 7 3/4. RTH on Monday was 63.02. So we've cleared that a bit. Monday's high was 9 3/4. And we just haven't been able to sustain a bid above there. So maybe we can wake up and bulls will snort Coke at the open like they did yesterday. And maybe get through it. But yesterday the open was, I don't know, it was kind of a panicked bid. It wasn't really a good look. And, sure enough, they kind of got rug pulled, I guess, a little bit yesterday. So we'll see. But it is, bulls have been really, really weak on pops, rips up into this range high. And, but still active on dips, right? Nothing has broken technically. I'm going to characterize this as, it's 4-day balance. There's 5 days in here, but one was the fourth. So that's not really a day. Today would be day 5. So it's just a range, right? But this week, we haven't taken out, Tuesday didn't take out Monday's low. Wednesday didn't take out Tuesday's low. So, we continue to grind higher. Even taking out yesterday's low wouldn't be horrible. If we lose this entire range, then maybe there's something brewing, but not really, right? You're still, in order to change any kind of intermediate trend, you're gonna have to take out a prior week's low. You're gonna have to overlap value lower on a weekly basis. We talked about that on Monday, so we're not there yet. So as tired as bulls seem at times, they're still ultimately getting the job done, and that just means selectivity on trades. Still looking to buy dips and then cautious on rips again. And with these narrow ranges, that kind of sucks because it's not like you can just join a trend day or something like that, right? Like you're getting a 60 handle trend day. And if you chase it on a 5 handle dip when it's already up 30, I mean, you can't do that right now because the entire range of the day is going to be like 25 to 35 handles. So
Yeah, I mean, right now we're at 23, 24, something like that, from those London lows up until that peak high we saw, I don't know, about an hour and a half ago. And, that's been the story, right? We've had, ATR is down to, what is it at now? It's at 50. It was 47 yesterday. So kind of I would almost say an old school normal range we've been seeing the last few days.
yeah.
Nothing like we're used to. And but I'm wondering though if today's the jobless claims came in pretty good. Nothing to see here, folks, kind of thing. I'm just tracking the Fed funds, Fed Watch, CME Group Fed Watch tool, and it's like there's no way we're getting a cut in July, even with all the pressure that's being mounted, maybe in September. So I'm wondering though if this jobless claim number will provide a little bit of a spark for the bulls.
Yeah, actually, I totally forgot about that since our routine's a little bit different this week. I'm used to hearing Tracy go over that, and I don't have to look at data anymore. So forgot all about that. So, so it sounds like it was okay, anyways. When jobless claims has been a giant nothing burger for two years, it seems like it's been like very very steady. I mean, it has changed, but then like week to week, it's like the same. There hasn't been any kind of big spike or anything like that. So yeah, we will see if bulls can lift this top of range. So, 15 to 17 half is the spot that I was using for this week. You can see it sort of has left that Thursday volume from last week trapped and a bit of excess, but at the same time, we have still dragged value higher this week relative to last week, um, which is what has had me, I don't know, keep it in the back of my mind that we could potentially visit last week lows. I've been having it in the back of mind all week, and it wouldn't be bearish. It would just be sort of, again, this seems to be a range here. But I mean, sellers have just had absolutely nothing right for so long. So haven't been like actively trying to be short, just aware that something like this could happen. And if it did, then like it's still going to end up being a long, even if it came all the way down there. It's Thursday. We've got Friday. It would be nice to bring the weekly to balance, but like there is no signs so far, anyways, of sellers being willing to take out a prior day's low. Maybe that changes today. Maybe not. Not optimistic at all. But it's basically just a range that we're trading in this 4 or 5 days, and for the most part, higher highs and higher lows. But again, these 15 to 17 has been capped, so that's going to be the big spot, right? I mean, if we can lift and sustain these highs, then I mean, how are we not getting Thursday's high and probably new highs, right? Because we've got 2 weeks of volume down here would be below us, and then nothing really above us. So today's a good day if bulls want to get it done.
Yeah, we have another higher low. I think this is the third or fourth higher low in a row from on a daily, and it's like a grind, man. It's just like slowly grinding. But looking at your chart right now on that weekly, there was one, two, three, four, five kind of peaks that were sellable actually
Yeah,
throughout the week that would have paid off if you decided if you're brave enough to get short up there around 6,300.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly right. Yesterday, I was long from overnight again. So I mean, this is like sleeping has not been good, but took exits up here, and I was just saying that like hey, I might short this like 20 to 22, right? And I was like, I walked to go take a leak and get a drink, and then this whole thing happened, and I was like, whoa, what did I miss? Um, but it was kind of a bad look. Breadth was kind of weak on that rip. And I mean, it looked like a really kind of a panicked bid, almost forced, and that's never a good look. And sure enough, they got rugged. So, we'll see if it's a little bit different today. It wouldn't surprise me though if we got a little bit of weakness. NQ had a decent high yesterday, not like nothing amazing, but it had. Let's see if I can get it pulled up here. Had a decent high,
Yeah.
right? And so basically, this distribution up here, this tiny little guy, has been trapped. And so I took this short last night on the way down, and then started looking for the longs. And we've come up, and we made a higher high there, but still have not been able to sustain up there in that little distribution up there from yesterday. So it's an okay high. We'll see if it leads to anything. Again, sellers have been just completely horrible. But it just, subtle little things like that keep me, potentially on watch for some kind of change in character.
Yeah, on that last chart, when I'm looking at the official point of control for the week versus the anchored volume profile, it's like, all right, the anchored VWAP, it's significantly above that official point of control, which is telling me, again, feeling a little more bullish. Should we get a little pullback?
Yeah, for sure. So yesterday's low on NQ was the week to date developing volume point of control.
Yeah.
And then the overnight high on NQ is basically yesterday's volume point of control and the high from the 7th. So I posted a meme, Drake meme, on X this morning. I remember a week or so ago, it seemed like we opened on a true gap up, by prior day's high, ripped to new highs. Well, the last few days, it seems like we've been buying a high from like 2 to 3 days ago. So the low on ES, this was the high from the 8th, cash hours high right here. And then the low of night on NQ is the high from the 7th, actually. So, it is grinding higher.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm open to potentially seeing some weakness today based on the fact that, how many times are we going to come up here and fail above, the weekly open? So again, this is the 6 p.m. Sunday open. Just every time, pop sold, pop sold, pop sold. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I did you say Drake as in the musician?
Yeah. There's that Drake meme where I'm not even going to try to describe it, right? Where he's basically saying like, no, I don't want that, and then it's like, yeah, this is what we want. So because a couple of weeks ago it was buy, open a true gap up and buy prior day high, and now it's basically buy a high from 2 to 3 days ago, and during Euro session has been like the pattern lately. So that's what we're
Yeah,
doing.
well, I mean, I know who Jackson Brown is, and that's kind of where my music knowledge kind of stops.
Yeah. So, for today, like, I don't think you want to give this back again. Call it 93, 94. Ranges are so tight. It's kind of ridiculous to even have a 3-handle range here for an area of interest. But I don't think you want to give 93, 94 back again, would be key on ES. So, if we hold this and we open above, let's say 93, 94, maybe, we can come back up potentially and retest, these highs, 6307-ish anyway. But it's starting to feel just a little bit heavy up there in those highs. So it might be time to go try to find and recruit some stronger buyers, which generally means we might have to separate some weaker contracts from, or some weaker hands from the contracts that they hold. So I'm going to be starting to look for a liquidation here soon, if not today, in the next day or so. And again, major topping signal, me staying awake until, midnight for a 20 handle long. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's tough. So, this is kind of like the first week after 4th of July weekend. My guess is, there's a lot of folks still out of town. I know you're going out of town next, but folks still out of town coming back. So, volume wise, even the S&P, we've done about 112,000 contracts so far. So not that great from the start. Do you think that this kind of low volume thing is going to continue today and tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't see why that would change anyways. So, we'll see. And low volume, it doesn't have to be bearish or bullish or anything like that. It just kind of is what it is. And you generally have relatively low participation. Those are the kind of days where your gamma banana type stuff takes over. And, 0-day positioning really tends to matter a lot, and can have a significant influence. Just not a whole lot of participation from bigger money.
Yeah.
But for today, since we're about out of time, we could even come down here and take out the overnight low and still hold this kind of 82 to 84 spot from yesterday. After it reclaimed yesterday, it was pretty well bid, until or unless we're taking out an overnight low, prior day low, and seeing some continuation. Sellers aren't serious, and even then, it would still bring it back if you looked at the daily to just a multi-day box. So until that's given back, everything's fine.
All right. All right. Well, appreciate the intel, man. Good seeing you. You need to get some rest, man.
I do. Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. But hey, vacation coming up. So as if you get a lot of rest when you have 4 kids on vacation. But I'll pretend like that's what's going to happen.
All right. So we will not see you starting now for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll be back 2 weeks from today and do the Thursday show. And then, of course, Friday's my day off anyway. So, yeah, basically 2 weeks. So enjoy.
All right. All right. Well, hey, appreciate you as usual. Have a great vacation. And thanks for the intel. And we will talk to you in a couple weeks.
We'll see you in a couple weeks, Jim.
All right, man. All right. How about that thumbs up for Pharm? Waking up early, up all night, cranking away. Let's give him a round of applause. That was awesome. Appreciate his game plan for sure. We have now coming on live, Chris or Christian. I'm going to call him Chris from Trading Boxes. He is here. We'll look at this guy. How you doing? Good morning.
Hey, Jim. How's it going? Morning.
Morning, man. How you been?
I'm good. How are things with you?
I can't complain. We're a little rainy here. We have some rain and storm and stuff going on. Other than that, though, I mean, that's my biggest complaint.
Yeah. Hey, not bad. 4th of July went well?
It did. Thank you for asking. I spent the long weekend with mom and dad Cags in Charlotte. I got to hang out with them, which was great. My brother and some immediate family. So glad to be back to work, though. How about you? Did you get some relaxation 4th of July?
Yeah, just hung out with the family, girlfriend. We just didn't really do much. Stayed local.
Yeah, that's okay. That's relaxing. I like that.
Yeah, it was.
Oh man. Anyway, well, we had a little bit of news this morning that didn't really move the needle at all with the jobless claims. No surprise there. How you feeling about the equity markets today?
It's we're in a little bit of a tricky spot just because the trend sequence. I talk a lot about trend structure. The trend sequence that I track on the daily is signaling that we're seeing a potential, I don't want to say a top, but potential end of this current uptrend since that breakout 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's hit all the requirements that signals that it's time to slow down, and even a Pharm brought it up that we can look for buyers at a lower level. So I'm seeing a little bit of that, but I still have to recognize that. But still, hey, if we come into an area of support, hey, we're still in an uptrend. If my rules are meant to look for buy opportunity, I still need to show up and buy that, regardless of what is happening on the daily, until we get confirmation that the daily is starting to break down, which we haven't yet. It's sort of a correction through time. We correct sideways, we move back up. Correct sideways, move back up. It'll come back. It'll come back down soon, but until then, just have to trade this summer market that we're in.
Yeah, I mean it's super resilient. Just taking a step backward and looking at a daily chart over the last 6 sessions. I mean, we've been consolidating, although we're making kind of higher lows through that consolidation process. So we'll see if it breaks one way or the other. But I hear you. You and Pharm are on the same wavelength, I think.
Yeah, we just have to just continue to do our thing or follow our process. And whenever, I'm big on confirmation. We need confirmation to understand that the change in character has taken place, and then adapt how we look to trade that. With that confirmation, then I am trading probably my emotions, my bias, and I know what that's going to lead to if I do that consistently.
Yeah. But I mean, does your bias at a certain point change to neutral from bullish or neutral to bearish?
Yeah, actually, at the end of last week, it changed from bullish to neutral, just because of the type of move we've had, and the fact that at the end of last week, we had per the trend structure I follow, a second higher high in the daily 9 MA trend with RSI divergences. So that typically gives you a heads up that, hey, these last new highs, the momentum was not there the same as it was before. And so now we can go through a consolidation process. And that's what we've encountered this week. So thanks to me following that trend structure, I have an idea to say, okay, well, obviously there's some sort of resistance, there's some sort of divergence. Can we start looking at a neutral perspective, come back down to test some support? Well, we're still in an uptrend. We can still look for a sideways market, and that now opens me up to say, okay, can I look for shorts at resistance? Like yesterday's open, we had this big push in the open, and then 30 minutes later or an hour, we pulled back down. Well, we had tested resistance, and that was now a viable opportunity for me for shorting. So yeah, more balanced week we're in.
Yeah, and that resistance, if you go back to Monday's highs, that was almost like a double top we saw in the open yesterday, and couldn't get through it, man. So we'll see if we get a triple top or nothing today.
Yeah, we'll see. It's I mean, it would be really surprising if we continue higher out of this 2-3, I think it's 3 or 4 days now, consolidating sideways.
Yeah.
But at these extended levels now, it's sort of have to think, okay, well, I should be aware of a possible failed breakout on a lower time frame that could sort of really mark a potential end on this trend.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Fantastic. All right. Any other markets you're looking at, or are you focused on ES?
I just track ES and NQ. If oil or, gold, I'll swing trade gold. I won't really day trade it. If they're trending higher, I'm right there in those swings. But if it's not, I have to continue to be in the leaders. And what is that right now? Tech, right?
Yeah.
So NASDAQ, yes. I'm trading NASDAQ 98% of the time because I can see the strength in tech. We had these amazing tech companies, semiconductor companies, leading on higher to all-time highs, NVIDIA at all-time highs. What am I doing shorting this move in NQ, right? I need to be buying those pullbacks in NQ in order to align with the trend and hopefully make some points.
Yeah, it's incredibly resilient. You just mentioned tech. If you think about AI and all of the copper we need, we got copper tariffs out of the blue yesterday, 50%. I think the market thinks that'll come back down as negotiating tactics go forward here. But even with that, you think about the energy requirements for AI, the circuit boards, the wiring, the whole thing, and it's copper, copper, copper. So we'll keep an eye on that. I don't want to get into NVIDIA or anything like that because I'd be way over my skis. But the copper thing kind of was surprising yesterday. But equity markets are tough, man. They're resilient.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, they're kicking butt.
All right, man. It's great chatting with you as usual. And I'm not going to see you again until next week. So, good luck today for sure. And then have a great weekend, and we'll chat again next week.
Likewise. All right. You take care. Enjoy your time over there.
Thank you, Chris.
All right.
All
right. Take care, Jim. All right, gang. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Hello, Faina. Good to see you here every week. Gary, let's see those numbers and calculations. I'll bring them up. Don't worry. Emilio, Chuck, good to see you, Chuck. Star, John, a lot of people from the group. Juan, how's it going? Celalac, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Not Michael Burry. Good to see everybody. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, let's get those likes up, guys. Let's get started with our trade plan. So I'm going to quickly touch on the daily only because I talked about that and I want to show a little bit of that. And I'm going to show NQ here. So I don't know how many of you guys have heard me say, but trends typically end after a second higher high. Okay, sometimes we get a third higher high and that becomes the blow off top. And you can see here from this prior consolidation, we've had 3 higher highs, higher lows in this 90-minute uptrend. Okay, I would say I follow this trend structure religiously. It is what has helped me so much over the years, and sometimes it'll go into a fourth and a very rare fourth higher high. And if so, that's fine. Over time, you'll find to see that after the second or third higher high, the 9MA trend ends. And what happens is that you get a pullback. And I talk about this on lower time frames, right? When we're trading, we get a pullback into the 2050 EMA, and then we start a wedge consolidation, right? It's just how the market moves. If you go back and look at the structure prior, you have a high one, high low one, higher high two, higher low two, higher high three, a big one because of I think this is that gap up on Sunday where we had a deal have made, right? And then what happened? It ended. We pulled back into the 20, created our wedge, and then started a new 9MA trend, right? So by definition, that is the market's structure. That is how it moves. So there's a high probability here that this trend is close to ending here, and that we're in the middle of a potential, I don't want to say a top, but a potential high of this trend. Now, can it continue higher? Absolutely. Will I do my best to participate in that? Absolutely. But over the last 15 years, the trend ends typically here. If you go back to the weekly in 2021, 2022, we had three lower, higher highs, higher lows, and then pulled back, right? But I'm not going to touch too much on that. So the daily is sort of signaling, hey, we're potentially coming into an end of this trend. What can that look like? So here's that consolidation on the 4-hour. For ES, we're in a range here from 6250s to 6318. This is our consolidation. Inside that consolidation, we have a 50 EMA wedge. Inside that wedge, we have a bull bear zone. What? Meaning price action above 90.93 is bullish, price action below 90.93 is bearish, right? So that is my sort of line in the sand inside this consolidation to help me align with the lower time frame or the internal structure to say, okay, if we're above 90.93, I want to be looking for longs. If we're below it, I want to be looking for shorts, right? Now, if this 90MA higher low were to fail, if this 90.93 were to fail, then we can move down to test this prior day low, 6250s, 80s, and then bounce because we're still in a consolidation, right? We don't have any confirmation that price is ready to break lower. If it forms acceptance here and we fail to sort of bounce and get rejected, then that tells us that price is getting ready to break lower and it can test prior week low or the 6200 area. Okay, for the 4-hour and NQ here, it's a little bit stronger. Semis are strong, software is strong. It took out prior week highs. It pulled back and tested this 950, 970s area, this zone, held it, consolidated above it. That's acceptance, right? I think by now you guys know acceptance is a wedge. Why? Because it's confirming to you that buyers are stepping up from where? From down here to here, and they're ready to push it higher. So that's exactly what we're seeing. So I have to respect that and align with my trades with that. As long as we can continue to hold that, we can continue to consolidate sideways, push out into 23 320s. If we fail 950, 970s, we, similar to ES, come back down, test prior day low, the 800, 820 area. And then if we form acceptance, we test prior week low at 600. Okay, so that's the internal structure of that daily consolidation that we're in. Now, the market's about to open. I'll go over the hourly in a second, but we did see a beautiful, I was looking for a bullish reversal setup at 20s here. It did not come down exactly, and so I was setting up to stream, so I missed this opportunity here to get long. But it would have looked something like this. You guys know me, the 9MA reversal, and this would be, so hopefully somebody in the group took that, pushing it higher. Let's see how the open reacts here, and then I'll finish off with my plan. All right, we're seeing a strong push up higher. So if you're long this, hey, beautiful, get paid, right? All right, so good push by at the open. Let's continue the hourly plan here so we can finish that. Let me close this. All right, so the hourly, right? So this is what creates my trade plans in the mornings. Inside the overall consolidation here, market is in a large base, but the hourly internal structure was a sort of falling wedge here, very tiny, right? And then it still tried to keep this consolidation, but it bounced. So you can see here that this was the short-term support resistance area. Okay, we broke out higher, back tested it, bounced. We failed, back tested it from the underside, this 88.93 area, rejected lower. Broke out higher yesterday, attempted to fail back down, held, and we bounced back up into the end of the day, right? What did we do overnight? Overnight, we came back down, we back tested that area, which we knew it was support until what? Until we form acceptance and then break lower, right? So we back tested that support area overnight, we held it and then bounced back up. So what does that tell us? That the last few hours is bullish because we held the bull bear zone that I went over. We started a new 9 MA high low uptrend. And now my job, scenario one is, can we consolidate here? Can we hold this, continue to hold this 90-93 area? If so, we can push up into prior day high 63.18, which is resistance of this whole range, and reject, right? Until what? Until we form acceptance. And so if we can form acceptance at prior day highs and confirm that we're able to hold that and not reject back down, then it'll look like a wedge up here. And then at that point, it can be ready to break out higher to test prior week lows in the 63.43 area where we can reject, or again, form acceptance and break out higher, right? If we fail to hold a potential higher low here, can we come back down here into what? The prior support resistance bull bear zone area? And then can we form acceptance here now? Fail to bounce, right? Sellers are showing up from here to here. And if that happens, can we push back down into the support of this large consolidation into 55.60 area? We can expect a bounce there until we what? Form acceptance again, right? So you see how it's a repeatable process that can help you, if you're watching, understand when you should get long and resistance and when you shouldn't. If we get resistance in a aggressive uptrend, you can imagine that we're going to have some sort of rejection, right? So I'm not looking to get along that. I need acceptance. And look at NQ here. It just had a crazy rejection. All right, so let's keep going. There's not much to do here for me. Price is just consolidating. If we form acceptance and fail to bounce from 62.50 to 62.60s, we can push back down and test that prior week low, which I think is a higher probability if we ultimately break 90s, because that would be the pullback on the daily to the 2050 EMA. So that is my sort of, when we get that pullback, if we get that pullback from this sort of area, I would be targeting the 6200, 6220s area. And hopefully I can capture that in my swing account, right? Because as you guys know, I like to swing trade in Q when we are really have this sort of real push or trend in the markets. All right, so for NQ, and then let's go to our screens. A little bit of the same here. Look, resistance, rejected lower, bounce, rejected at resistance, broke out, back tested it, held yesterday midday, bounced back up end of the day. What did we do overnight? We came back, created a falling wedge into that support area and bounced back up. Beautiful, right? It's just a beautiful way how price respects these zones. We then pushed up higher. We had a higher high one, higher low one, higher high two, higher high two up here, and then we're pulling back. So can we hold this area, consolidate here in scenario one, and then push out to prior day high, 23,130, reject, or do we form acceptance and then break out higher? If we don't get any of that and price moves down lower, hey, well, guess what? A move lower will only be back testing this support area here into the 950, 970s area. So part of scenario one for me is that this pullback can be deeper, test this main support, which is actually like the bull bear zone, bounce until we can form acceptance and confirm that sellers are showing up lower. and then take us down to prior day low, 820s area. We can bounce or form acceptance. And then if we do form acceptance here, we get that daily pullback into the 2050 EMA cloud, and that would be somewhere in the 600 area into prior week lows. Does that make sense? It's a lot of the same thing that you guys see me talk about every week, right? It's process. Follow trend structure to understand the least path of resistance, and then go to the lower time frames and trade that, right? As you guys know, I am a hourly trend trader, but I look to the 2 and 5 minute to execute, to look for my entries in that potential move. So we got a failed breakout in NQ. ES created a lower high here. So we had an SMT at the moment, in that moment. So, at the moment, there's not much for me to do because we are just consolidating in an hourly structure. So my job is to be patient and wait for a little bit more clarity in these situations. So I'm going to do just that. Don't diddle in the middle, as Faina says. All right, let's see at some of these things here. Hey, thanks, Adam. Thanks for all you guys for tuning in. Hey, Serena. Hey, John. Hey, Med, i.e. a main. I hope I'm saying that right. All right. Mark, good to see you. I hope it doesn't sound like that, Mark. Biochemistry along with mathematics and physics. Oh, is that what you're interested in? I get it. Hey, Carlos. Hey, Crypto John. All right, so let's see what happens, right? I'm waiting for a pullback into support. Thanks, Miklo. Hey, that's like, I don't know if you guys ever saw Dragon Ball Z. I grew up on that. Hey, Michael, thanks so much for the kind words. I can only teach well because I have seen the mistakes and failures of my past. So that is the only reason wisdom is there. So as you guys see, whenever we're in a potential daily up or downtrend, you guys will see me right away look for trades and execute. And I like to press, right? Those in the group know I will swing trade on my swing. I will swing trade some NQ in my swing account while I day trade it. And then we're in these consolidations, these hourly ranges. I'm just looking to trade the edges, right? Hey, thanks, Gary. I'm just looking to trade the edges, right? So that it looks like buying the pullback into support. If we're in an uptrend, selling resistance. If we've hit resistance, I actually did take a short yesterday at the highs after that morning rally. Let me show that real quick. So I shorted this move up here because on the 5 minute, we had I don't know if you guys remember, but those in the group will know we have a 8 to 12 candle consolidation becomes a 9 MA no trend in time, as I call it. Pretty much just means there is a no trend in time throughout this consolidation. And the fact that I was looking for a lower high yesterday, and then also what took place was a big SMT. NQ took out prior week highs and ES didn't. So we have a divergence there. And then we have a consolidation here that's telling you that price is consolidating for a move, right? So I got short the 5-minute 9 I don't want this one. The 5-minute 9 MA higher low reversal, which as you guys see me do, and I was able to participate in this move lower. Eventually I caught this breakout back up here, and those were my only 2 trades, right? So I'm not looking to trade a lot. I just want to trade the first 2-3 hours if I can, and especially during the summer, right? Because it's very choppy. So we might get a little bit of that, more of that today, this morning. But while we wait, we can get those likes up, guys. Maybe I think the higher the likes are, the more volatility we get in the markets. It's what I've heard. All right, let me go to the 2-minute here. Now, in this environment, we do have shorts that can work as well versus, the last few weeks where it was just like straight up, straight up. So something I tell my group is, hey, lean on that. If you have a good setup, if the rules are met, lean on that. But know that in the middle here between zones, it's sort of, it's very easy to get stopped out because it's sort of in a micro range within the larger range, right? Something like this. So during these environments, I myself are more patient. I myself know that it's not a environment that I can really press, and so I am just patient, right? Take it as a mini vacation, right? We're not here. I'm not here. Maybe some of you guys are. I'm not here to make money every day. I'm here to press the markets when I know the environment I thrive in is here, and my job is to extract the most, right? If I can make 30 grand in those weeks and lose 5,000-6,000 in these weeks, then right, that's my goal. Is I don't want to say survive, but if I go through some losses, I want to keep it at that. All right, so for now we're just chopping around, consolidating. We're in a little micro range. ES, you can see here, is in a range here, so I'll keep this up. And that sort of will give me a look at what ES is doing. And I mean, ES looks good. NQ is the one that's weak today. Let me see how my swings are doing. Probably not that good, huh? Not bad. Oh, we have coin going up. Coin, hood, Palantir. Everything else is sort of red. How's Bitcoin though? You guys catch that breakout? Hopefully we can really push up into 130 in Bitcoin. You guys know me. I've been in already for I think a week and a half. Let's see. So ES looks stronger. It looks like it wants to lead a push up higher. NQ looks like it wants to pull back. We have some software names pulling back. Software's red. It's really strong red on the day. So a little bit of divergence between the both, but ES looks ready to push out here. It's just a day to be patient. We have look at this big divergence. ES is green and Q's red. That means probably cyclicals are green. Let's see financials. Yeah, financials are green. Health wants to be green. Industrials are green. So it's a wait and see morning for me. What's my favorite song at the moment? I don't know. I don't really have one at the moment. You know what I do? I go on Spotify and I go to the weekly. You know how every Monday it generates a new playlist based on the songs you've listened to? So that's what I do. And then I just listen to those. And if I like one of those, I'll favorite it. All right. So NQ is breaking lower. ES is really not moving here. You had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You had a 9 MA consolidation here, break lower. Remember, on the daily, we're at that point where, and then here's your wedge breakdown in NQ. So now you want to see if this can continue lower into this zone here that I have at 970s. Remember, main support is 970s to 950s. So I'm a buyer there if my rules are met. So if we can come back down here, I'll be looking to get long here. But it's a slow tape this morning. NQ into London slow. One trade idea I had was to look for a pullback into the 2020s in NQ. So we're right here, as this is the hourly 2050 EMA cloud. But we're in the middle of zone, so I mean, you know, also in a low tape, you don't get much of a range. Let's see what. You guys make any trades yet? Let's see if NQ can come back down here. So NQ is breaking this small wedge here. A short there. You're up 1.5 R, where you take partials. Let's see if we get that test into support and what that can look like. ES into support here. So, you know, maybe something that we could possibly see is ES attempt to break a failed breakdown from this sort of range, bounce back up at the same time that NQ tests this area of support and bounces back up. Maybe, right? We can just break right through it. But this is really the area that we'll need to hold in NQ because, again, it is the bull bear zone, right? So if we fail here, I mean, for me, we need acceptance here. So we need like a multi-hour consolidation into like 50s, 70s in order to really break it. If we fail, then that, you know, we can see an aggressive move lower, but it's just until we see some real breakage in the markets, it's hard to see that. So ES remains in this range. YM up, NQ down, Susie says. Y is down, going up because NQ's going down. Dow is going up because industrials are going up, meaning we're just seeing rotation, right? That's all it is. So it's normal. Short coffee. Wow, look, a coffee trader with us. Very tight range here in ES. There's a micro range like right here. So let's see what happens, right? And then we have a second lower low in NQ, but it hasn't really come down into that support area. So maybe there's a possibility that we can make a new low into the support area that I highlighted, and then see if we can get some sort of a bounce attempt there. I can only get bearish when we break under this bull bear zone, and I'll actually be looking to put on some swing shorts if that can happen. JD says, I get when most people say your money's made in short periods. The March volatility was a gift. I think it will depend on the type of trader you are, right? So if you do much better in high volatility periods, then yeah, there are people that are killing it right now trading these markets, right? So maybe for them right now, it's they're having a killer time. Yeah, ES is really not doing anything. Trapping Thursdays, right? You guys remember that? So let's see if we can hold NQ's coming into that level here where I'm getting to look for a reversal. We will need to form acceptance here. Let me show NQ chart again. So here's NQ. We, again, going back to what happened. Well, what happened? So we broke out of this consolidation, this wedge. Boom, big move, right? Into prior week highs yesterday. We then sold off, back tested it, pushed up higher. We pulled back into what? The 970 zones, held it and pushed up higher. What are we doing now? We're pulling back into that same area. Not only is that zone support, but a little bit lower is that 950s range area, right? Or box, as I like to call them. So this area is area where I'm interested in looking for a reversal because it's support until we can have confirmation that it's not. And that confirmation will come either as a complete like aggressive sell-off where we don't respect this level and we can just move all the way to the prior day low, the 800 820s area, right? We will traverse back down, or we and that we form acceptance, and that gives us a better technical confirmation that we are not able to bounce, or any bounce attempts are short-lived, and then we get the breakdown. Until then, I have to think that we can see a potential reversal from here because we don't have acceptance, we don't have an aggressive sell-off, right? So I have to continue to think that until we do get that confirmation, especially if ES is not budging and not breaking lower. Yeah, but if you're short, this is the environment where your shorts are getting paid, right? Unlike in the last few weeks where your shorts were making very little while longs were making the most amount of money. Right now, it's both parties are if you're trading the edges, both parties are kicking butt. So let's just see. See what my swings are doing. Semis are seeing a little bit of a sell-off, although they're still kicking butt. Crowd is, software is seeing a little bit of a sell-off. Mags are just sitting. Nvidia is probably the strongest. Bitcoin is just consolidating after yesterday's breakout. Nvidia red, but it's at all-time highs. Pawn unable to break through that all-time high resistance. Uber, let's see, it's been strong, consolidating, pulling back. Hood, yeah, sort of like a small failed breakout in Hood. All right, so we're coming a little bit lower. Well, ES is really not moving at all, but NQ is coming a little bit lower, closer into that resistance area, support area. So I'll be looking for a reversal here on the 2-minute shortly if we can get my setup here. So far, we have a lower low, lower high, second lower low here. So let's see how we hold here, and then put in that second lower high, right? You guys know that it is when that second lower high breaks that I'll be looking for an entry, or my entry is in that area. Why? Because I want to be looking for I want my entry to be at the start of a new trend. So let's see what happens here. Look, if you guys are short, good on you. You're making money. ES finally attempting to move lower here. So what we want to see in ES is a wedge down here to sort of confirm that it is not able to bounce back up, right? To confirm that we're not going to see a failed breakdown. If we can get a wedge here, then we can get a breakdown. Maybe we can break straight down. So let's see here. We're breaking right through that support area. So this is bearish in my opinion because the 4-hour is failing. And if you guys remember, if the 4-hour fails here, the first higher high, higher low, for those in the group specifically, higher high, higher low, if it fails here, then we have a failed breakout of this wedge where price can then move all the way below or into that 50 EMA and prior support area. So very vulnerable here to now break through this support area and move lower. But for that, we need acceptance, right? Until we get acceptance, I have support. So I'm waiting here for a bounce into the second lower high to see if we can get a reversal opportunity. If not, then I will have to look for a wedge or acceptance to participate in a move lower. Yes, still holding here. There's we need that wedge structure here to confirm acceptance of this area and break lower. Let's see what happens here. Can we hold and then create a failed breakdown, reverse back up? But it's we'll have to see. All right, no sign of life for NQ. It's just straight down. So this is we're getting that 4-hour confirmation, guys, that the daily is turning here. So for me, it's a risk off on swings. And speaking of swings, I need to close one name. All right, so it doesn't look like support's going to hold, guys. So now I'm going to be looking for some acceptance here to join on that or in that. But look, ES can still get that failed breakdown. All right, so ES looks like a failed breakdown. I'm gonna have to continue to look for that reversal, right, guys? So if we can get a bounce into the lower high here, I'm gonna be looking for a potential reversal. What we need for ES to break down is we need acceptance here, which is a wedge. We need that wedge, which it may start to form that now here. Let's see. Qs are into prior day low, not NQ, Qs. All right, so the 970s, 980s zone is now going to be resistance here that we will need to reclaim. This. If we can form some acceptance down here, I will myself be looking to get short and swing. I think the daily trend is over here. So I'm close to turning into in seller mode. Yes, moving, hardly moving here. It's mostly NQ here. What are semis doing? Semis and software are both getting sold. Wow, software, big hit. Yeah, I think that trend is over, guys. Look at software crowd now. IGV, it getting hit aggressively. That trend is over. So, you're seeing in real time me analyzing that the daily trend structure is sort of starting to confirm that we are breaking lower. So I'm now leaning. Well, we need to still form some acceptance here, right? We need technical confirmation. I need that. So I am waiting for. No, Mikolo, acceptance is a sort of extended wedge here that confirms that we're not able to bounce back above like a zone. It's out acting as support. And then the breakdown of that is where I look to execute. So we don't have that here, right? We just went straight down. So I need that in order to get confirmation that this is not going to be turning into like a big failed breakdown, right? Because look at ES. ES easily can see a failed breakdown here. So in these type of markets, you never want to be too aggressive on shorting a break, at least for me, okay? Everything comes from my point of view. Like this move lower here, it's obviously working and paying, but I'll tell you like 8 times out of 10, it usually comes down into support and bounces, right? So I wanted to align with that. I want my trades to be in that same sequence where 8, if I can trade 8 out of 10 times to make money, I'm going to do that. And I'm okay with missing this kind of move because I generally don't look for it. I don't want to look for something that only happens 2 or 3 times out of 10. Hey, John, that's awesome. Financials are strong. We're just seeing rotation. Money coming out of software. All right. ES, if it can reclaim here, it's probably going to bounce. I need a lower high here in NQ to consider a reversal. So I'm looking for a reversal here. Let's see how the lower high sets up. Here's the back test in ES here of this range. Now, can it form this wedge, right? As it's possibly doing that, or are we going to see a failed breakdown? And in doing so, or at the same time, NQ can see a bounce from here back up. So if we can get my sort of lower high here, I'll be looking for that. Although there is an aggressive long here at the break of this 2-minute high, but I am no rush to do that. All right, let's see what we continue to set up. I really like this. It's an aggressive long though. My aggressive side is right here, the break of this. That's my aggressive side stalking this trade. We can come back down here. I'll look for a long. We have our 2-minute lower high. So let's see if we can come back down there. The second lower high is being put in right now. You can see ES had a failed breakdown, so I am looking for that reversal. We had a lower low, lower high, second lower low, and the lower high is being put in right now. So if we can come back down here to this early lower high, then I want to enter long. But the actual 2-minute lower high is here, which is roughly 50 points. That aggressive idea that I had is what up what into 1R. All right, I am in. Let's see if this can trigger back up. I'll take half off at 1.5R. I'll leave that like that so you guys can see. I like it because at the same time, ES did put in a failed breakdown. The Qs took out prior day low, and we back tested the support area. So now let's see if we do get a potential bounce. If not, then we can make a new low in Qs, and I'll get stopped out. So I'm going to bring this down to 1.3 just because this is that zone that it should now act as resistance. So I'm wondering if we can back test that and then maybe set up the wedge, right? Because what we've completed is a lower low, lower high, second lower low. We completed the 9MA downtrend. And now can we start a wedge? Okay. So if so, that means price can backtest this 970 zone and then put in our wedge. If we are to do something like that. If not, there's a possibility that the selling will continue and we just make a new low, right? So I'm looking to see if we can get that wedge, which would mean a bounce into the 970s and then put in a lower high, like a short-term swing lower high, and then consolidate. Yes, I talked quite about this in ES. If we could potentially see a failed breakdown or a wedge and then break lower. So far, we saw a failed breakdown. We moved in lower, consolidated, could not continue the downtrend, meaning could not continue the lower low, lower high, lower low. The 9MA downtrend from this consolidation did not take place, right? So if we're not going to see that, what's the next step? It's a reversal back up to continue a new higher high structure. If that is the case, then you get a failed breakdown, right? So we saw that. Now it's up to NQ to see if we can push up higher into this 970 zone to sort of give us that potential wedge. Oh, we got 200 likes, guys. If we can get that up higher, that'd be great. See, beautiful failed breakdown in ES. If you got that long, kicking butt, right? Good job. NQ's pushing out. I am hoping to see a test of this 970s area. we did go through a little bit of a strong selling pressure, so we'll have to wait and see, right? I'm gonna bring it down a little bit more. Probably what, 1.1R? Is that what it is? Maybe. Let's see. Here's 1R. No, I think it's like 1.2R. I'm okay with that. I want to front run that zone if we do get up there. All right, but now it's just wait and see for me. ES is obviously stronger. What MA is in red? It's a 50 EMA. So this is a 20 in green, the 20 EMA, the 50 EMA, and it's an EMA cloud. So now what I'm looking to see is if ES can hold any potential pullback to create a higher low, hold, and then break out higher, right? If we don't get that, then we look for the same thing, which is, can price break back down, form acceptance at this support area or lower, and then break lower. Okay, so those are the only two scenarios that you could see on a potential pullback. Can we pull back, create a higher low, and then higher, or acceptance and then break lower? Okay, that's it. There's no other variations. If we get a pullback, if we go straight up, that's something different, right? We go straight up. So here's NQ. Let's see if we can get a push up into 1.2R so I can get half out. Who's gonna sing that song today to take us higher? Guys, let's get these likes up. What's going on here? We're at two. Oh wait, maybe I need to refresh my YouTube. Oh, we're at 242. My bad. All right, take me out here before it rejects. I'm gonna bring it down. Okay, awesome. So I'm out half at a little bit over 1R. And I'm doing that because I am, remember, this is a zone here at 970s, which we broke through it. So it now has to reclaim. We need to reclaim that zone. So it's going to act as resistance at the same time as ES comes into the top of this prior sort of consolidation, right? So can both hit resistance, then reject? Yeah, if that happens, I want to take half off. So I could pay myself, right? If we do push higher, then I have the rest of the trade to help me make my points on that. Okay, but now since I've sort of financed my risk, I have a risk-free trade. I don't want to say it's 100% risk-free because we know unexpected things can happen, but I was able to finance my risk, and now this trade can do whatever it wants to do, right? It can figure itself out like some people in college, right? Like Paul from the group, if he's watching this. All right, so not much to do. My morning is done. Either this continues higher and we push up higher. If not, then it comes back down and I get stopped out, right? But Brian, thanks for tuning in, my man. Good to see you on here. If that doesn't happen, what would I do if I only had one in the trade at this point? What do you mean? If you had one contract? See, that's it's there's two approaches. One is you're holding your trade into a specific target and you won't take partials, right? So if you have one contract, you're doing that. You got to have a really good system for that. So, whoa, look at that. See, this is why I wanted to pay for my risk. So now we see if, and look at ES rejecting from resistance, right? So if we're able to identify these resistance areas, we can say, okay, I'm still going to respect what my R targets, but I'm going to look to take off instead of 1.5R, I'll bring it down to 1R so I can pay for my trade and then see what happens, right? Hey, Gary, thanks so much for that comment. Will I move my stop? No, because my setup, my trade is not invalidated yet. It will only be invalidated when the lows get taken out. If we don't do that, there's always a possibility that we can wedge up here. Why? Because that's the structure that we form when the trend ends, right? Did I not go over that? Henrik, thank you so much for those comments. We're all great in here, okay? We all have our different styles, but thank you for that. So we have our lower low, lower high. Do I copy trade multiple accounts? I do not. I trade a swing account and then this one. The day trade is like cash flow. I put money into my swing account, right? And my swing account is where I really, I mean, that's a much larger account and where I'm looking to really make my money, as they say. So when the downtrend ends, what do we get? We get a bounce into the what? 2050 EMA cloud. Why? Because that's the market structure. That is what the market does. I follow that, right? I am not telling you that this is, I don't have a black ball or whatever it is to see the future. It's just, it's trend, right? This is how it moves. So when the 90-day downtrend ends, we move up into the 2050 EMA cloud. And then we do what? We create a wedge where we put in a swing high here. We come down to seek a higher low versus the low that was made. And then if we can respect this swing high and this higher low, we can create a wedge. In that wedge contraction, we then create energy for the next what? The next 9MA trend, right? This was a 9MA downtrend. So either we continue higher, we're able to reclaim the 970s area, and we start a new 9MA uptrend, right? Let me close this for now. Or we continue the prior 9MA downtrend, fail to reclaim the 970 zones, and start a new 9MA downtrend into the next zone of interest, right? I'm not looking to be smarter than that. I am looking to follow that structure repeatedly over time in alignment with the trend in order to create a positive expectancy in alignment with my own parameters, right? The entry, the exit, my sizing, the trends filter that I follow, right? Now, conversely, with ES, the 9MA uptrend was like this. We're pulling back into the 2050 EMA cloud. Can we now create a wedge here? Okay. If we can create a wedge here, can we then find a direction to move higher or lower for the next move? Is all we're doing, we're going to remain in this range and then price will come back down here again? Well, guess what? Can we see another failed breakdown and bounce back up? Sure. Or this time, can we actually form acceptance here and break lower, right? So you see how that waiting for that will help you be in the break of this range. Now it's weak. It looks like we're going to break lower. But if that's so, it is what it is, right? I showed up and I did what I had to do. If I get stopped out, then I get stopped out. And then at that point, I will look for a wedge. We're forming that wedge structure here. I will look, this can become acceptance, and then I can look for a continuation lower, okay? The 9MAs I use for all trading, swing trading, day trading. So let's see what happens here. I got to go over the chat. Thank you, Henrik. I don't know if you guys covered this. Why is the NASDAQ experiencing such a discrepancy to the S&P? It's just rotation, Jeff. Look at the individual sectors. What is semiconductors? What are software doing? They're red on the day. What's up in the S&P 500? Financials, industrials, right? So we're just seeing rotation from tech into somewhat defensive sectors. It's healthy, but that's why these divergences happen. Thanks, Madman. 9 SMA. I only do EMA for the 20 and the 50. Any reason for choosing the 9 moving period? It is the best moving average that allows me to track the trend structure extremely well. I've tried the 9 EMA, but it's too tight, too short. And so the 9 SMA is what allows me to capture that trend well. And then the 20 and 50 EMA allows me to have a tighter look at that moving resistance, meaning this cloud, right? So I like that. Your swing trade account, are you trading futures on it as well? Yes, I will mostly trade minis on that. Probably 3 to 4, sometimes 5 to 6 on a really good setup. And I'll swing that. I'll swing that 4, 5, 6, 800 points. Let's see. Joe says, "Do I live stream on here?" I do. I only live stream here on Thursdays. I have a private group called Paradigm Shift Trading where I teach my approach, and I have a huge educational library. Can always reach out on Twitter, and I can share more info on that, but I don't live stream on YouTube. I don't have a YouTube. I do my best. Those guys and gals in the group know that I do my best to stream inside the group in the Discord, but they know that I'm doing quite a bit with some other things that this commentary text is probably the best. But I try once a week on there. Is it normal to have about 10-point differences between NQ and MNQ? No. Actually, I don't know that. Your swing trade account, are you willing to speak about what it takes to make money with regards to the number of contracts you trade and the amount of money you have in an account? What I can share is the percentage, right? Like, I am a percentage-based trader, so I will risk, I think 0.75 basis points, a little bit under 1%. I will risk per trade on the swing account, and I don't need more than that. All right, so we have our higher low. We're forming that wedge structure. We have our low, right, which is called our swing low. This is an anchor point. And then our swing high is another anchor point. So now we're creating a wedge inside of that. Higher low, can we bounce and create a lower high? And then at that point, we confirm our wedge boundaries. And then we will have a better idea of which way it wants to break. If ES bounces back up from here, then we sort of have an idea that we will bounce back up, right? If we fail, then we are failing to reclaim the 950s, 970s area that I talked about in the morning plan. And in doing so, that will mean that we can now visit the 820s area, which is prior day low. 800, 820s area, which is that next area of support, right around here. Okay, so that would be the next target on a continuation lower. For that, ES will really need to break back down, form acceptance, and then get that breakdown. So you can have both indices break lower. Until that happens, it's a little bit of a waiting period. As this wedge forms, this wedge represents a contraction through time that is building energy for the next what? That's right, the next 9MA trend lower or higher. So you see how I'm able to repeat that process because I live in a 9MA trend. Like, I live in that in the daily, in the hourly, in the 5-minute, or even the 2-minute. And so in these reversal setups, you don't want to move your stop because you got to let price figure itself out, right? As it figures itself out, it can do whatever it wants. It's figuring itself out, right? So there's really not much for me to do. Like, you have to, um, all the back testing, all the analysis that I've done in the past has allowed me to be patient in both waiting for the setup to come to me and letting the trades play out, and then just seeing if it'll go to my targets or if I get stopped out, right? It's I do that on a daily basis. Let's go over some of these comments. Yeah, hopefully that answered your question, Gary. I risk a little bit under 1% in the swing account. And that can be 30, 40, 50 points. I'll take partials, of course, into like 2R, and then I'll hold the rest. And since I'm swing trading that, I'll look for, I mean, we can never say how many points we're looking for, right? But we want to um, give ourselves the opportunity to make a substantial more in order to get that break. In the last few weeks, I've been swing trading NQ because we've just been in an uptrend. So I want to give myself the opportunity to participate in that daily expansion move while only risking 30, 50 points to make anywhere between 500 to 1,000 points. Oh, we have 15-minute divergences. Oh, we did. That's a good eye, Jen. Talking to somebody in my group. So ES had a 15-minute divergence into those lows. So that's always good to see. Let me highlight that. I'm big on divergences. Actually, I can share here. So these lows here, these second lows here, okay, RSI had a higher low. So that's another indication. I talked about this with Jim, that divergences in RSI or delta help you understand that the new push lower, obviously it's location dependent, right? Don't forget that. But the new push lower is doesn't have the same momentum to it, and it's failing to sort of, to me, that means that if there's no momentum, the same momentum in that breakdown, right, which was a breakdown of this consolidation, if that same momentum is not there, then that tells me that the volume is not there to really drive price lower, right? So that's what the divergence represents to me. And you can see that in ES, we had our side divergence. Did we have that on the 5-minute as well? Yeah, we did. Our side was sort of flat here, right? So 5-minute and then 15-minute sort of gave you a heads up. And we saw a move back up. And then my commentary was more on, which is sort of like a 3-layer thing: 15-minute divergences, 5-minute divergences. And then you want to say, okay, can this 2-minute lower low, lower high continue lower or fail? And if that fails and we reclaim that 9 MA lower high, we trigger a failed breakdown and we move back up, right? So it's just trend. It's literally price action candles telling you what will take place. Let's get an update in NQ here. So far, we had that 90 MA lower low, lower high, second lower low. We reclaimed the 9 MA lower high, and in doing so, triggered the move back into that 2050 EMA, where we were looking for resistance, right? We were looking for that into the 950s, 970 zone. We found it. We put in a swing high, an anchor point to this wedge. We moved lower. We created a higher low. We moved higher. We created a lower high. And guess what? We're getting our wedge structure. Why are we getting a wedge, guys? Because that is the market structure of a consolidation, okay? By definition, if we're not creating higher highs, higher lows, and we're not creating lower lows, lower highs, we're creating what? The opposite of those. We're creating, we're living inside a swing high and a swing low, right? Here. And then we are creating higher lows against that, and then lower highs against that. That is, there's no higher high or lower low sequence, right? We're living inside those two anchor points. And so that contracts literally price and trend. And you are then able to wait, right? So if I was, let's say this consolidation was happening above like a large consolidation here, price broke out, right? And then now it's creating a wedge. I will be pressing longs here. Why? Because this is a consolidation above a recent 2-day consolidation, right? That's telling you it's accepting the breakout. We're not filling the breakout. So if we were in that structure, I would be pressing longs here to look for a move much higher. But we're not. We're in a mean reversion environment, right? So I'm not looking to do much. I'm looking to do 1 to 2 trades a day. They either work in my favor or they don't. They hit my targets or they don't, right? It's pretty repetitive, and maybe it sounds boring. So, but it's good trading is boring, right? I don't need to be doing all this and that, and that's too much for me. So just sit and wait. All right, I'm gonna look for well, if we can reclaim that zone, that'll be pretty strong. It will mean ES can break out of this range here, form acceptance, and then target the 63.18 zone. Actually, because we are in a look, we can actually see a bigger move higher. So let me see 20s. Yeah, I like 2.5R if we can break out back up. We are, so let me bring back the fourth. Again, maybe, but I'm not looking for much. If ES breaks out here, we can see prior week highs, no problem. What does that mean for NQ? NQ will probably revisit prior week highs as well. But it's a little bit sloppy, right? It's a little bit of it is a range that we're in. So we're not really doing much inside here. I'm just sort of playing the edges as best as I can, right? So, but let's see what we get. Hopefully all of that made sense. Hopefully we made our points. If you caught the short, great job. You caught the short and the long. What else do you need to do today, right? Just you're done by, in my case, I can be done by 8 a.m. And I'm not done with the day. I still have things to do for, business I run, but like trading wise in this market in the summer, I don't need to do much. Let's see. Juan's asks, Chris, backtesting, do you do it manual or script? I do it manually. I am a big advocate of backtesting manually because you see all the different variations, right? How does the breakout look? How does the breakout look when it breaks out directly higher? How does the breakout look when it fails? What does price action do? What are indicators doing? What's happening in that moment in time that can help you create a template of that and replicate it, right? So in doing it manually, you can understand trend structure a little bit better. That's how I came to understand this wedge structure, right? I had to really say, okay, what happens when we bounce? What happens after we bounce? Where do we move to? what happens if we fail? Like, I had to literally go through those different scenarios in order to get a better understanding of this, right? So manually, can you do it script? Sure, but I want to do it manually. I love this. I love this game. All right, so ES is breaking higher, really bullish. Let's see if NQ can get us 2.5R. Matthew, I try and you know, maybe once a week. I'm not. I can't stream every day. I can't. Those in the group know why I can't share here. I am new, Liana. Liana, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, says, I'm new to trading. I have been learning a lot from you, Chris. Thank you for the great session. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for being here with us. And thank yourself, for showing up, and everybody, thank yourself for showing up and continue to do something that's extremely hard to master. So give yourself some grace and, continue to show up, right? The first few years, it's all about survivorship. Survive long enough until it can make sense, and you can become that trader you envision yourself to be. You like my no drama trading style. Listen, I already had too much of that in my life, right? Like I faced death with my kidney failure. I've gone through 2 kidney transplants. Fear in a potential losing trade is nothing compared to dealing with an incredibly high blood pressure that you need to go to the ER, right? Many times a year. Like that, this is nothing. Okay? Nothing. Dialysis for months is nothing. This is nothing compared to that, guys. So I gotta go. Larry, you're amazing. Thank you, Larry. You're amazing. Chris, at what time do you start trading and why? I start trading at 30 minutes before the market opens, probably. Why? Because that's when the action starts. I'm looking to be active in the first 2-3 hours, and that's it. I mean, I'll trade after, but Cody, absolutely. Grace is everything. Kieran says, this is a great setup. Thanks for this. No problem. Stan asks, is cumulative delta big part of the strategy? I look at it for divergences as well. If there's a lower low in price and delta has a divergence with the higher low, cool. Let's go for that, right? What candle did I go long on? I got long at it was actually it should have been the break of this 710 or 1010 candle, but I got long on the pullback. So I got long on the pullback on this 1014 candle right here. Right. I can't ping. All right, you know what I mean. This pullback here. Price pulled back, did something like this, moved up higher. At this point, I put my limit order, price pulled back, filled me, and then pushed up higher. NQ stalling at this resistance zone, which we knew already, right? NQ needs to reclaim this. ES is breaking out of that consolidation. So it's leading the move higher. If you're long that, fantastic, right? I hardly trade ES now, so I don't mind missing that. Do I ever add? I'll add on a wedge structure above resistance. So let's say we can get a wedge up here. I may add, but I'll treat that differently. I don't want to ruin the trade that I have here, right? Because at the end of the day, the wedge can fail, come back down here, create a higher low, and then back up, right? So I'll trade it differently. ES took out prior day highs. NQ still stuck at this resistance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out another quarter here. And I'm doing that only because NQ is failing to reclaim this resistance zone. ES took out prior day high. Let me show you this other here. So you can see ES took out prior day high here, and NQ is failing to reclaim this zone. So I have to respect that, right? I have to adapt a little bit and adjust my exits, right, in real time, because there's a something that's actually telling us there's a big divergence here. And well, what can happen? Well, ES can push back down here, right? And if it does that, why? Because we're in a mean reversion range bound market, then that means that NQ will probably get rejected again and come back down here, right? So I don't do it for every trade. I do it when the environment is very choppy, range bound, and that's just a way for me to manage my risk. I'll keep the rest on, right? But I will I'll do that during these environments. And IGV really got hit hard. SMH. All right, let's go over some of these comments. Juan says, thank you, learning a lot. Juan, it's always good to see you on here. Cody, you're right. Grace is everything. Bolivia, Ferreira. Good morning, Chris. Please do it more days here on Ninja. I'm here Thursdays. Is Apple failing? No, Apple's kicking butt. I'm long Apple too. Cellulac, thank you. Let's get those likes up, yeah, guys. What are we at right now? We're at 290. We have 600. Let's get to 320. Yeah, let's get 30 more likes. Come on, before my session is over here. 30 more likes, and I come back next Thursday. How about that? Let's go through these. Master Roy, reach out to me on X, on Twitter. John got that. Reach out to me on X and Twitter at trading_boxes, and I can share more info about the group. Matthew, good. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. All right. We're at 320. Awesome. Look, 20 more, and I'll be back next Thursday. If not, I won't be back. I'm just kidding. What are my targets for the ES long? 3R here for the next exit. We really need to reclaim this 970 zone. We're struggling here. So Vince, thank you. Fly it here, thank you. I'm glad my comments help you refine your own strategies. Danny's asking, can I go through my analysis process since the open to take the trade, please? Just review, go back to the open, my friend. I did a very detailed overview of my trade plan, starting from the daily to the 4-hour to the hourly to then to the 2-minute. I can't go over that right now just because my time is coming up soon. So Forgotten Trader says, I live with a brain tumor. I'm so sorry to hear that. Puts things into perspective. Look, you know why you're here then, right? You're here for a specific purpose, and it's our responsibility to really get out there and thrive. And if this is what you're looking to thrive in, you know how important it is to be disciplined with your medicine, with your doctor visits, with your diet, right? It's the same thing here. Have that manifest into your trading life. That's what helped me, right? I had to become extremely disciplined with my medicine, my diet, my lifestyle, that it was transferred to this area very easily. Chuck, good to see you on here. Thanks, Bolivia. Why did you make a long position instead of a short? I got long below the resistance. I got long down here. Resistance is here at 970s. So I got long in the idea that we would get a reversal because ES was confirming a failed breakdown, right? So I'm sort of in alignment with both of those. And NQ is still struggling here. Hopefully we can get a pop here. You can't leave your stop that low. You're moving it up. That good. Move it up, right? Do whatever your rules tell you to do. Jamba says, my second week here, Chris, you are the best teacher online. I'm gonna have to decline that. Thank you. But there are some better teachers on here. That's right. Forgotten Trader. He knows. You get it. Chuck, we're here to make our points, right, Chuck? And everybody in the group, we're here. We show up and do what we need to do, and journal our trades, journal our execution. Masteroy, Sab, can you put in my Twitter on there, or should I do it? We have 335 likes. That's a good ratio, guys. Thank you. Out of 600 followers. Thanks, Sab, or if it's not Sab, if she's enjoying a vacation, someone else. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, so that's my Twitter, guys. You guys can send me a message. I can share more about the group. It's a great community. We have a lot of those people in here in the chat. Chuck, F&G Boy. So reach out, We have a daily trade plan every day to help you make your own trades. Sometimes I miss my trades. Sometimes I'm on a call or I'm busy. I'm in a meeting. So the trade plan's there every day to help you. And then I do 2 to 3 times a week. I do a 20-minute video where I do a trade review, going over the trade plan, my trades, structure, specific questions that were asked during the day. I answer those in these videos to give you an additional lesson on a weekly basis on top of the expansive educational library that we have in there, all meant to really help you, make your points and extract and hopefully help you make more income and create the life you want.
Good morning,
Yo,
buddy.
What's going on, Stowe?
Oh, nothing. How are you today?
Good. Where are you long from? Okay, that's what I want to know.
Oh, well, actually, like right here. I just flipped from a short. but I was long. Yeah, I've been doing everything today, Chris.
Okay, so you caught the short at the open too?
No. Certainly
Okay.
not. I was able to get on it and scalp it a little bit, and now we're fighting with this 980 spot that is
Yep.
that is its sticky mess. But like, I don't know what ES is doing. ES is on its own journey right now. So I'm just cautiously one lot long right here. Looks like they're gonna take me out though.
Yeah, it's struggling here.
I was short here successfully twice, but then I got taken out, and this bid is really relentless. And just looking at where ES is, I don't know. I'm actually gonna scratch out of that too. All right, so I'm flat. I don't know what's going on, Chris. It's been a week.
Yeah, it's I like to call these weeks as trade the edges, and I do my best to do that. And I mean, you're really good at trading in the middle. I'll see you buying pullbacks here and there, but I try and minimize those because I know in the past I would go through stops.
Yeah.
But you're killing it in that. I'll stick to the edges and do my buys. I mean, we're usually around the same buy areas.
Yep.
And then I'll trail that.
I just don't. They're doing this thing. I mean, they put the point of control right here again, 2 days in a row. I mean, yesterday was a nightmare for me. I had terrible execution, terrible everything, and I'm coming into like, I don't know. This is Groundhog Day. This is exactly where I started yesterday. Price was right here, fighting with this 980 level. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's I call it the bull bear zone line because it's in the overall 3-4 day range that we've been in. We just it's a magnet. We come back to that. We chop around excessively at a random time. We break away from it and then come back to it. The next day.
Yep.
So,
and that low is not great either. I was looking at 880 area for some sort of
along
relief, but we didn't get any. Not necessarily along, but I would like to see it. I don't know. The monthly opens right there at 867 too. Monthly VWAP is at 880. Just somewhere down there for a pause. But yeah, I don't know.
I have support. So if we can't reclaim this 980s, I would imagine that we come back down to that. Yeah, like you said, the monthly open. But I also have a good support area in the 820s.
Okay. Yep.
So I would imagine that we come back down there.
I guess we're just this is what one of my biggest struggles is to grab retracement through value, which is basically this whole 880 to 820, or I'm sorry, 980 to 820 area. It's just like I can never stay on a short retracement trade. I always get kicked out of it. Just like just now, I was in that short. Yep, there it goes. Yep, I was in that 980 short and I got stopped out of it. So I flipped long and now it seems like it might be working. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's choppy this whole week. Less is more, like Deli says.
Yep, less is more.
All right, my friend, my time is up. Passing on the baton to you.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Kick ass. I'll see you next week.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, Chris.
All right, you guys all take care, all right? Toodles.
Morning, chat. Good morning. Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around this a little bit. Yeah, just in this super chop zone. Came up and retested all this stuff. I guess maybe 23K would be on the higher time frame. All these lows. Man, Globex really did the exact trade that I would have loved to taken today. That's been happening 2 days in a row now. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Another great long from Chris. He's very good. Good morning, DZ. Good morning, Drunk Radish. Good morning. Good morning, Big Ant Small Man. That's like this book that I read with my kid, Big Dog, Little Dog. I think it's a Dr. Seuss book, but Fred and Dead. I don't know, Chubby Panda. They're very fast. Buenos dias. Good morning, Juan. Good morning. Good morning. No, I didn't change the colors. This is just my high time frame chart. The yellow band is the monthly VWAP, and then the blue as it goes into there is the current week that we're in. So now that we're on Thursday, you know, it's a useful tool. So we're in the middle of value in the VWAP world, and then we're also in the middle of value in volume profile world. Yeah, we didn't quite fill 22,900 down here. I was waiting for that too, and that didn't happen. So yeah. So yeah, I had this short was good. I got one off for 15 and then stopped out for 10. And then I flipped long here and got one off, but then stopped out here. So, and looking at the profile on the day, we certainly have left this volume up here and struck, but I mean, we're pushing and building up from the low. So I don't know. Realistically, hey, good morning. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning. Constantine's waiting for 2,400. So you're long today? Cool. 24K coming in hot. What's up at home, ATM? Good morning, Juan. Good morning. Good morning, Larry Pumpkin. Good morning. Pretty busy up here. It's kind of in some two-way. This is, you know, some decent absorption here, but, you know, supportive bid the whole way up. So this is the leg we're in now from this low here at 1026. And you can see, you know, the two-way that if you read it the whole way up, you know, bid, offer, bid one, bid, offer here, bid one. No supportive bid up here for this two-way yet. So that's why I took this initial short, but I got wicked out of it, which is going to happen, especially with shorts for me. I don't know why. Just my execution is probably like 2 points worse than if it was a long, just from practice. Also tough to be. It's really hard to be bearish NQ with ES like continuing the moon mission that it's on. I mean, it's impressive stuff. It's just been straight up since that 1026. ES making new highs consistently. We held the previous day high, and it's got, you know, this has got like 15 points to go for new all-time highs. NQ is just sitting here. It's pretty good rejections now. Is it seriously the Russell again? Is that what's happening? Yeah, I should have maybe traded YM today. So yeah, if we're doing rotational day, the Chad Dow strikes again. The ultimate Chad. There's a lot of NQ bid here too. My London range stayed, which is right at the 24-hour view up too. And overnight was pretty much entirely long off of it. We can go back. But yeah, it pretty much just opened and then went straight up. Very methodically, pulled back, touched the VWAP, kept going. So now that we're below that, I don't know. I worked really hard to try to get on that short today and mostly just chopped up. I got a couple good ones, so good process wins today on that, but not really anything to write home about at the moment. Yeah. Okay, Ferry wants 2306. Very specific. I think I maybe see a tiny LVN right there for you at 2306. Nope. No, I was wrong. 23,003. This is a lot of buying right here. It's not getting anywhere. Like a lot. Let's stack it on the offer too. Let's see what happens at this 970 if we pull back up here again. This is also the weekly open right here as well. So this is very crowded. Very busy place. Overnight low. RTH VWAP. Weekly open. I mean, look at this passive selling is pretty gnarly over here. It's just the offer. So what's happening? Why I can't get in is I will see the sign to get in, and then immediately it changes. So the bid keeps stacking up just as well as the offer here. All right, we'll try. I don't know, France. The VWAP band is it's curled up, so that's good. It's definitely getting a little more flat. See, this is the bid that's holding it up at the moment. So let's see what this LBN here does. Okay, tested the other side. Bid stepped in. Let's try to catch this continuation if it's real. Did see the bid step in. Not quite moving fast enough. Let's go, baby. Quick, quick, quick. Fast like a bunny, as I would say. That's what we say around here. Do you guys say fast like a bunny? Let me check on ES, see what it's doing. Okay, pulled back to the top of its zone. Looks okay. Man, there's a lot of bid on ES. Maybe I should pull up an ES chart real fast. I know there is one. It's my own fault for not making one. I know that OFL has a good ES execution chart. Come on, bid. Let's see, 650. Yep, this guy's stepping in, holding this LVN. Crossing the spread now. Coming up to these lows again. Okay, 11:15. Might be cutting this for time purposes. Nasty. Pretty big bid at 50 there. Nope. Wow. Holy moly. Big dude on the offer. Just dropped 200 lots on my head. That was great. All right. Hey, not Michael Burry. I'm doing good, bud. How are you? Cosmic and LVN is a low volume node in volume profile. So this would be a low volume node. And then typically, nice. That's good. It's going to run me to the tick and then go. And then typically the point of control and, big spots like this would be HVN, which is a high volume node. Let's see. I'll get through this 960 guy. It's trying to cross. If it's going to struggle bust at these highs, get this. Jeez. Holy smokes. That was a very mad order. Did you guys see it? Sometimes when Delta comes in like that, it's like getting hit in the face. Yeah, instant point of control. Someone came in and said, "I'm the point of control." Yeah, someone just marketed in 200 lots, give or take. 965, which are these lows. All right, we got one off. Let's see if we can get back to this G line. Let's see if we can get back to this 980 spot. Tuck this guy up here. You guys rooting for the moon? I don't know if that's good. I don't know. This is not infinite bid .exe. It doesn't look. This was here, but this was not. So I don't know. I don't know if we're still in this leg. You know, we're still seeing this leg play out, and we've now pulled back. You know, here supportive bid. Now we're seeing supportive bid. Now this is our two-way now, right here. And there's a lot of business coming in, which is odd. There's no we just rejected the view up, so it's not looking good. Let me see what the bands are. The bands are contracting. Top band still sloped down. Man, this divergence is crazy. It's just pretty. I mean, that's just pretty wild divergence in general. I don't know if I've seen it that extreme in a long time. Well, yeah, we'll take that out before it gets too weird. This is, since it's become the middle, pretty much. I don't want to mess around in there. Nice rejection here. At this point, I'm just trying to win a trade, just to feel good. So that was good. We need to take some process wins into next week. Yeah, Curtis, this tape is a little I'm not really feeling it either. As in, it's confusing me. Confusing me quite a bit. That's still fine. $85 is $85. You can get a lot of stuff for $85. Oh, what's my go-to coffee order? I just normally just like coffee. I just drink black coffee. I like dark roast usually. But I'm in some I've got this coffee club thing going on with that new coffee maker that I got that is extremely weird. And there's all these I guess the trend now is fermented beans that taste like flavored coffee without adding flavor to them. They delineate the flavor from the fermentation process. So it's very weird. Like this coffee tasted like banana bread and it was with no added flavor at all. So that was strange. But I don't like that. So so it's been, I don't know. It's cool, but I don't like flavored coffee. I just like coffee. So that was a little too nerdy for me. But yeah, if I'm at I'll get a Americano if I'm at somewhere that is known for, espresso stuff. I'll do an Americano or just an espresso, just normal. But I don't put anything in my coffee. Looks like we'll see how this closes out. I'd like to see this get back to this range. I haven't quite got there to retest this low. Coming up in the overnight low. Super bid. Just stacked 150 lots. Looks like they're chasing it up. I'm going to wait for that 990 spot. It's the value area high on that rolling profile that I use also. I'm sorry, Butters. You asked me a question. Would you explain what that means? A lot of buying, but not going anywhere? Yeah, this was a ton of buying that was not going anywhere. We're above it now, so this is what we're looking to see if it gets rewarded or not. But this seller is still here at the top of this profile for now. Patience, patience, patience on this short here. New high on this leg. It's a pretty big pop. I created a bit of a messy auction there. Some incompletes. 89 from my buddy XY if he's watching. He's not. He's doing something cooler than this. Yep. Nothing to do, nothing to see. Market Masters, is Bitcoin taking ES with it? I don't know. I don't think that Bitcoin is in ES. I don't think they've added Bitcoin to the S&P. They added Master to the MSTR2 NQ, right? I think that happened. Didn't they add Sailor's Thing to the NASDAQ? I'm pretty sure. Maybe I made that up. That one I actually didn't move the stop quandrum. I actually just exited that because I wanted to take the points. It's not a good entry, honestly. This was a very aggressive long here on the LVN. The good long was down here. But even then, I didn't like all this rejection. So, but you never know. That's what trading the hard right edge does. Yep, you can't catch them all, unfortunately. Oh, nice, cool. So I did remember something. That's good. ES still partying. This previous week high is at 633. Yep. Not much for me to do. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I would love to take some time to answer them while I'm not actively looking at a trade. This is like 3 days in a row where we're just ending up in a situation that's not my day type. And, I really need to be better at not forcing trades into those kinds of sessions. So that's what I'm going to do. Tons of bid. Look at it go. Technically, 23,006 did not trade, by the way. So you can't told me so. You traded 8 lots in front of it at 23,575, but no trades at 2306. So if you want a touchdown dance, you got to pull up a DOM and see if your order actually got filled. Yeah, Grisha, it's been better for sure. I think it's just 2 lots versus 4, to be honest. I think I was working with too many inputs with all the different exit possibilities. I think I was just getting lost in the sauce. That's my guess. I don't really know. Fair enough. All right, 3-tick rule. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Okay. Oh, thanks, Mr. Progress. I don't. I'm good. I'm chilling. I like to, I don't know. I feel like I pay more attention to days like this. Like these are days that are opportunities for me. Not necessarily to trade, but to find new patterns and to learn, new stuff. So I probably get extra. Yeah, I'm probably extra quiet and paying more attention to what the market's doing than talking into the microphone on days like this, just because I'm really trying to observe. Thanks, Boliva. See you tomorrow. I think the gang's on tomorrow in the morning. All right, 2306. Sterling says, "Hey, Stowe, I know you mentioned you like trading this time of day, but with lower volume, does that become challenging?" Yeah, I mean, if volume dries up, I don't like to trade after 12:30. Like 12:30 to 2:30 is not a super fun time to trade for anybody, especially in the summertime. Good Lord. But yeah. So no, I don't normally trade that middle bit. I try to make a sandwich, go for a run. Coming down, holding that again. Just flipping over to the ES DOM real fast to see what it's doing. Oh my. Big bid just came in there. Go get this 300 guy. More 3. All right, we're going to try to tag that at 06 now. Let's go get it. Let's fill it for real this time. Hey, Arthur. You trying to unplug my computer again? This freaking cat. Hey, bud. Can we get this 06? No? Who's on the offer up here? Who's doing this? If I disappear, it's because my my cat unplugged my monitor. He finally figured it out. He's been working on it for weeks. This little mischief monster. Let's see. I'm pressing at the edge of this just because I see this bid coming in. London is closed. We're back above the London 30-second OR. $23K is going to obviously be a bit of a busy place, but I feel at least confident I'm going to get at least this first one off. Might be being a D for a T right now. But I was promised by the chat 23,006 would hit. This is really funny, actually. What a brick wall. What is this? What, Ferry, what happened? Why'd you do this? You said this number into the chat. I think that's what happened. And the MMs came out. I mean, it's impressive. It literally can't fill. Everybody in the chat front running this 2306 by a point right now. Come on. Oh my goodness. I'm impressed. You found a single price in NQ that is a brick wall. I'm very impressed. All right, everybody, start chanting. Can we get the push? Ferry, I'm going to give you an award if this doesn't fill today and we just go back, finally retrace. Come on. Oh man, it missed it again by a tick. This is ridiculous. This is true space madness right now. Yeah, Ferry, please change the price. Do it for all of us. It's been a rough week. Unbelievable. And now the offer is super stacked up there. This is a good metaphor for how my week is gone. Some weeks just be like that, though. There's nothing you can do. That would work. That would work, Zero Sub. Or wait, who said that? Did it get deleted? Somebody just said they're short with a 2-tick stop. That makes total sense. You are making money right now with a 2-tick stop up here at 05. Every time I think it's going to go, it fades back. This is very good. Still nothing. Still did not touch it. There we go. Holy moly. What a journey. Oh my. Woo! Have you guys ever had such a bad trading week that you've rooted for 2 ticks like that? That was good. All right, we're having fun. You gotta find joy somewhere, you know. Now we'll watch this. We'll watch this +1 for reaction. Obviously, we are, long for a press up here, but this is a pretty big LVN, which stands for low volume node. And this is some locked out delta 2. So there was a bunch of two-way from like about 320 to 340. This was in the old leg. Bunch of bid delta down here. A bunch of offer delta up here. So obviously that seller won when they broke through this and then created this volume down here. So, but or maybe price never trades below 23,006 ever again. That was the dumbest cliffhanger I've ever participated in, I think. But still fun. I imagine if I tried to mark it in with a 2-tick stop, it would just be over. Market order filled, stop filled. Yes, Ferry. That was will, grit, and stupidity. The perfect cocktail. All right, let's look at this dumb thing. Yep. So that's the majority of that locked out volume. This mess here. Where I did get a short off first thing. It wasn't bad. It was hard to stay on it though. Let's see what ES is doing. My goodness. Just close your eyes and buy ES. You don't have to worry about anything today, apparently. Let's see, what's this? 96? Yeah, it's still. Yeah, I'm still good with it. Yeah, ES certainly looks like it's going to run that previous week high. Holy smokes. Hey, thanks, Ferry. Nice trade, homie. Yep, 100 points. That's worth being done for the day. 100%. So as we approach the +1, that's where the day has kind of changed. I mean, it's certainly changed. I don't know if it's changed context. This was pretty grindy. This was gigabid, pullback, gigabid, pullback for ants. I don't know. So I want to see reaction here. If we can truly get back into this node and hold, that would be great. But as with anything, they don't make it easy to catch these high time frame breakouts. Here's the high time frame chart again. You see, this is what we're fighting with here. And, back in here, back in the weekly top band, back in the monthly top band, that's great. That's great for trend continuation. I just want to see acceptance back into this top node here. And we're coming up to it. 23,020, which is, right here. So it's a showdown. It's a showdown again. Bulls versus Bears. Somebody finally selling the Dow Omni? That's fair. I mean, it's trying. This big bid showed up at 10 here. 23,010. Let's see if that's going to be some encouragement or if it's just going to pull back and fill and they're going to use that to sell. All right, so I'm going to take my 15 points. This is ultimate target for this day type. I still want to see reaction here, but it doesn't make any sense based on how the days unfold for me to try to push past this right now. I'll buy it again if we get up here, pull back, and hold this area. But yeah, can I explain the day type? Sure. So it's not super nice. When I'm looking at the volume profile, so we open, I guess it wasn't an immediate opening drive down. We ran the overnight high because we opened basically right at it. And then I would consider this an opening drive down with a tiny blip. Opening drive down, consolidation here. This was a pretty big seller up here at 40. There was so much volume. It was like, I don't know, 700 positive delta up here. right in this spot, and then, immediate puke. So we were trending down, and now we've built this volume down here below the 5-minute opening range. So this is kind of like, I don't know. One thing I've been trying to do is I've been trying to reverse my, just reverse all my setups and see if they play out short side too. So one thing I would look for on a trend up day that was pulling back is a pullback to this -1. So trend down day that's pulling back, this is where I'm looking for the pullback to. So I was in a counter trend trade long. This is my ultimate target. If it wants to reclaim this, and this is a true like reversal on the day, and we've changed context completely, then I'll be able to buy this again here. If we're going to leave this volume in the dust, I can always just buy it when it pulls back. But right now we have excess at the top. I don't know. Looks like a lowercase b today right now, with this little exception, which I guess I would consider to be, yeah, I mean, that's that big inflection point too on this 5-day rolling profile that I use too. So yeah, it doesn't Omni. I agree. That's why I'm not very good at it. But in trying to figure that out, that's where I'm at with that process. No, you can offer 23. I mean, I don't think that. I think that's a good move. I mean, we haven't had a proper pullback to the OR mid. Previous day closes up there at 23,050. Yeah, I don't know. So there's lots of space up here to still short. Or if this starts falling out of this upper band, then that can also be a good short entry up here too, if we reject this 20. Actually, we'll probably just die from here since Omni is trying to offer 2 points above. Ferry's back. That was a fast cigar, bud. So fast. All right, 11:54. Yeah, we'll try this. This is a decent setup. The bid's still very much there, but the offer did show up there for a second. Let me see. Yeah, we're testing the bottom of this initial scene of the crime. Ooh, big boy NES at 63.22 though. Let's see how that fill works. Are you gonna fill him? There's a lot of weird ice going on. Holy moly. Stampede. All right, Omni got filled. That's good. All these bids that are just resting are not getting filled. It's super weird. You gonna fill this guy? What are you doing? There you go. Hazy, this is NinjaTrader, bud. It's the YouTube channel that you're watching. It always cracks me up when people ask me what platform this is. Yeah, NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader 8 to be specific. It's funny. You're not the first one. There's easily been 10 people that have asked me that. That's true. Kane does use TradeAbit. That's right. Or TradingView. I think because they have a plugin. I think Sarah uses TradingView also. I'm just kidding, Hazy. We joke quite a bit. That's what we're up to on this show. I'm trying to see if this can play out before I gotta get out of here at noon, but it doesn't look like it's going to. Big supportive bid still. So you see this guy coming in now at 139? Yeah. Yep. Good enough for me. This short kind of lost its juice once this guy showed up here. So I'll take that for a win. Let's see, 14. Cool. 10-point stop. Not too bad. Trying to find the process wins today, remember, chat. Cool. All right. Well, that's it for my show. I will be back with the Big Cat later this afternoon at 2:30. So come hang out, watch us trade the close. Hopefully I'll have, we'll have a little bit better action. I'm not sure what this day is going to do. I want to talk to Leo about it too. Ask him some advice on what he's looking for on these big drive downs that retrace. If he's catching this low or if, he's just waiting up here for the OR mid trade. So I got a bunch of questions for Leo today. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, but thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you. I've been on a lot this week. So I appreciate you staying and hanging out. It means a lot to me. And yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Thanks, chat.